Hello again, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am going to be very upfront. The entire reason we're covering this topic today is because I wanted to share this meme. There's absolutely no other reason. And so first, the meme.
What is this shit? What's going on? Why don't they like it? We spent $250 million on this.
It says we are proud to announce our new live service multiplayer 5v5 hero shooter. And in case you're wondering what that means in terms of what we're talking about, we're talking about the hero shooter Concord. And I know that makes you so excited. This is an article from PC Gamers. It says, "It's hard to complain about hero shooter fatigue when Concord looks this good" by Morgan Park. 8 takeaways from Sony's big FPS reveal. I was on vacation last week, so I got to experience the reveal of Sony's new multiplayer FPS like everyone else. Forgetting a state of play stream was happening, tuning in 15 minutes late, then rewinding to the beginning thanks to the magic of modern live streaming. Sony only had 2 big games of its own to showcase, not unexpected since slowly seems to be the permanent pace of big budget game development. Yeah, trust me, we all know. But I was surprised that while everyone around me was hooting and hollering about Astrobot, I was the only one who wanted to see more Concord.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
I keep seeing variations of the same 3 reactions to Firewalk's debut game. That it's an Overwatch clone, or another dead-on-arrival service game, or a multiplayer game that should be single-player. That's not what I saw. The cynicism around service games is earned, but when I look at Concord, I see heroes that I don't recognize from other games, intricately designed guns I want to shoot, and a format of FPS that we rarely get to see outside of Call of Duty these days. We've barely gotten a glimpse at Concord so far, but I have some thoughts about the reveal. Spongy folk at Firewalk know a thing or two about shooters. There's a reason Concord's cosmic mysticism and floaty characters ring a bell. Firewalk was founded by Bungie vets who worked on Halo and Destiny. Pedigree only goes so far when we're talking about a newly formed team, but I believe design director Josh Hamrick, who was also a gameplay designer on Halo Reach and both Destinies, when he says Firewalk is focusing on building a strong gameplay foundation of tight core movement, tight visceral shooting, and expressive abilities. Concord's heroes remind me of Overwatch, but Firewalk is clearly making an arena shooter. It is natural to see a plucky crew of characters with varying heights and one-word names and think Firewalk is making Sony Overwatch, but my gut says that impressions won't hold up once we've actually played it. Everything I saw in the gameplay trailer, circular maps, haphazard movements, 3 to 4 shot kills, suggests Concord is an arena shooter. In the trailer and in the PlayStation blog post, Firewalk describes both round-based modes and modes with respawns. In other words, Concord doesn't appear to be a shooter MOBA in the Overwatch style, with its prolonged group fights, strict role adherence, and linear maps. We should expect something closer to Call of Duty or Destiny's Crucible, a mix of traditional FPS modes, both casual and competitive. This is a core reason Concord has my attention. Firewalk seemingly understands that there's no more room for Battle Royales, extraction shooters, or Overwatch clones. We'll see how Marvel Rivals works out. But there is an opening for arena shooters to make a minor comeback. The early success of XDefiant, Ubisoft's free-to-play Call of Duty alternative, is indicative that people are in the mood for casual shooters again, and I'm definitely among them. The big vacuum robot gives me hope that Concord's heroes will actually feel different. If there's one aspect of Concord I hope does feel like Overwatch, it's kit design. The easiest way to kill my buzz for a hero shooter is to give me heroes that mostly play the same. Sorry Apex Legends, Valorant, and XDefiant. It's encouraging that Firewalks wants to embrace the asymmetry of its Concord heroes. We're influenced by a lot of fighting games and even strategy games in the interesting way the asymmetry of their characters makes every matchup feel really different, says lead gameplay designer Claude Jerome. Leaning into the asymmetry of the characters, really pushing the possibility space of 2 different characters colliding. It's all about creating opportunities for improvisation, said lead character designer John Wisniewski. There's where we can get out of the way and let players find their own magic. It's good talk, and it's backed up by moments in the trailer. One off, the yellow cylindrical robot from the cinematic literally towers over every other hero on the map. He clunks around the arena like a beacon, placing jump pads and serving as mobile cover for his teammate, and his only gun is a vacuum. I want to try it out so badly. Concord has a huge day one roster. Concord is launching with 16 free gunners, what it's calling heroes. That's a pretty strong start, landing on the higher end of hero shooters. Apex Legends launched with 8, Overwatch with 21, X-Defiant 5, Rainbow Six Siege 20, and Valorant 10. I have some friends who find it overwhelming when they have to learn a dozen plus characters right out of the gate. But as someone who gets bored when I don't switch heroes every few rounds, I enjoy the options. Concord isn't free to play that we know of, and that's very exciting. Did you notice that at no point in the Concord reveal did Sony say free to play? I had to watch it back again to make sure, but it sounds like Concord will be a rare paid multiplayer game. That's potentially great news. Paying for Concord from the jump would hopefully mean Firewalk won't be inclined to nickel and dime players with glitzy Battle Pass ads and $40 skin bundles at every turn. The standardization of free-to-play, along with old-fashioned greed, has led to games that are best described as storefronts that happen to have video games attached to them. It shouldn't be lost that Sony Helldivers 2, a $40 game, earned a lot of goodwill by prioritizing free updates and making its premium skin store an afterthought. Its 12 million sales suggest that people want to pay for multiplayer games if it means they're actually getting a complete game. If Sony learns the right lessons from Helldivers 2, I'd love to see a few things from Concord. A price between $30 to $40, every character unlockable at a reasonable pace for no extra money, no randomized cosmetics, a distant store tab, progression trees that never expire, aka battle passes. That fancy cinematic trailer backfired hard. In retrospect, the Concord reveal was never going to set fans ablaze, starting with that fancy cinematic trailer. Firewalk was probably going for a Blizzard-style cinematic that tells a self-contained story and sets the stage for Concord's world, but that's not what fans thought they were watching.
No. He's got a point.
The hundreds of thousands of people who tune into Sony's streams were waiting for its next single-player open-world adventure, and what they saw in Concord was a trailer for a game they're not getting. Concord's week-by-week storytelling sounds ambitious in a bad way. Firewalk has a novel plan to tell stories within the PvP confines of Concord. Every week, Firewalk will release brief cinematic vignettes that feature ongoing narrative arcs that grow the characters' stories, relationships, and unpack the broader Concord galaxy. Sounds cool, but hard to pull off. Producing 52 cinematics a year is a big task for an ongoing game where the schedules can shift, and if they're as short as 1 or 2 minutes, will fans care? Is hero shooter fatigue real?
Oh, yeah.
Before we dismiss Concord as a shooter conceived in an era that's long past, I'd challenge just how over hero shooters we really are. Apex Legends and Rainbow Six Siege are consistently in the top 10 most played games on Steam. Valorant has millions of players, and even Overwatch 2 still draws a crowd. All of these games manage to coexist without rubbing shoulders, and that's because, despite sharing a character design methodology, they're entirely different flavors of FPS. Apex Legends and Overwatch 2 both have heroes who turn invisible, create bubble shields, and mark enemies through walls, but we don't consider one a clone of the other. That's the lens I'm viewing Concord through, at least for now. It's applying heroes to a flavor of shooter that we don't get often, and I really want to play that beta in July to see how it shakes out. So overall, this person sounds very optimistic about this game. I will say that it genuinely sounds like they're interested in it. A lot of times you'll read these things and it feels like they're just blowing smoke up your ass. But in this case, I think this fella's really actually interested in playing this game. They may have a really deep interest in shooters. I don't. And the point that he made about the cinematic is spot on. When people saw that cinematic, they thought they were going to be getting a different type of game. They did not anticipate a 5-on-5 hero shooter. They didn't. And that really killed any vibe. The idea that they're trying to work this cinematic TV show is the best description I can come up with for it into this game, is probably going to be, in the long run, what kills it more than the fact that it's a 5v5. Realistically, if they have good gameplay, good guns, then people are going to play it. I know people out there hurting for a good shooter, especially as Destiny is on the decline, and there are a lot of people upset about it. Now, the other big hurdle they have in this is the characters. The character designs are going to go over rough for a lot of people. A lot of people are really unhappy about the way the characters look and the attempt to basically be inclusive without actually matching the definition of inclusivity. In regards to the appearance of the characters, here we have That Park Place, Rumor, Firewalk Studios shrugging off criticisms of Concord by John F. Trent. Here you see a picture of one of the characters. The positive thing I can say about this is that the synergy shield is definitely the correct ability for this character, as she will most definitely serve very well as a shield. If they give these things the proper weight, there's a small chance that some people will still be okay with it. Overall, in terms of what they're giving in character design, I see that lacking. I see people being very unhappy with what they have, unless, and this is a truth, whether people like it or not, unless the gameplay in this game is so absolutely fucking amazing that people can ignore everything else, it's not going to matter. Now, do I think that they can make a game that good? I think it's a possibility, but I feel like they may have spent more time focused on the character designs than they did on the actual gameplay. Now we'll find out if that's true or not when the game comes out. A new rumor claims that video game developer Firewalk Studio is shrugging off criticisms of its upcoming game Concord. The game has been lampooned by potential players for ugly character designs and including pronoun nonsense. Sweet Baby Ink Detected and DEI Detected creator Cabrutus Rambo shared his thoughts on the game's inclusions of pronoun writing on X, so the fucking robot has pronouns in the next Sony game. Okay. Yeah, a robot with pronouns is a little weird, but... Ex-user Manga Lawyer also lampooned the game's character designs, reacting to one character called Amari. Oh my god, finally, literally a playable tank. Which I don't think that's a terrible idea. YouTuber Endmion, and I apologize for saying that incorrectly, I'm sure I am, also stated, PlayStation's new Hero 5v5 PvP shooter Concord is full of diverse characters and designs, and they even have their pronouns listed below their names. See top right. Who is this game for exactly? Along with the game's character design and inclusion of pronoun nonsense, many have criticized it for being another 5v5 hero shooter in the vein of Valorant and Overwatch. Here you got Concord looks exactly like the kind of game I will never play. A 10-second countdown for a 30-second countdown is insane. Sony understand. We want games focused on single-player narrative, not multiplayer service games. Concord equals Valorant equals Overwatch. Nothing new here. On PlayStation's YouTube channel, a video featuring gameplay for the game has over 350,000 views. It has 44,000 downvotes. It only has 5,000 upvotes. Despite this negative feedback, former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grums, reports that his sources have informed him that Firewalk Studios is shrugging off the negative feedback. Grums posted on X, PlayStation-owned studio Firewalk has heard your complaints about Concord and ignored them. He added, sources tell me internal emails show me that the Concord team is shrugging off the criticism of their characters as white noise and dismissing it, very much in their own bubble. He then pointed out, meanwhile, their trailer has over 44,000 dislikes, and their lead character designer bashes white folks and is rumored to be the one who pushed for the character lineup to be super woke. They are in for a rude surprise. Meanwhile, Sony will be forcing PC players to register for PSN with the game and barring it for sale in 177 countries. Vote with your wallets. This right here is possibly the most egregious thing. You would think after the Helldivers situation, they would have realized people don't want that. But no, Sony's continuing down the road. There are plenty of reasons not to buy these games. The woke stuff is one. But honestly, the abuse and dismissal of the customer base is the more important one in my mind. Yes, the agenda matters, but more importantly, the fact that they don't care about their customers matters even more. The woke agenda stuff only demonstrates that they are willing to use anything to manipulate people. And the fact of the matter is, they don't care. The agenda doesn't matter. The agenda is just there for money. I know for a lot of people, they put that other stuff first, but everybody has their own reasons for things. The rest of the article covers John Wisniewski's feelings about race relations, and as I don't feel like getting into that, I am going to put the article in my description so that you can feel free to go ahead and read that. There are plenty of reasons to avoid this game, from the way Sony treats its customers to the actual designs of the characters. If you would like more of a insight as to why the characters may have ended up the way they are, I highly suggest that you go and read the article. But in an attempt to get through all of this red tape, or in an attempt to get through all of this bad press, Sony may be trying something. Here on IGN, you see Sony appears to be going the Helldivers 2 route for Concord's pricing based on the PlayStation 2 store listing. Gamers on a budget rejoice, or just realize that they're smart enough to realize there's going to be a lot of problems with this game and people aren't going to be willing to shell out $70. This is by Isaiah Colbert, or Colbert, I'm not sure how he says his last name. Sony's upcoming team-based shooter Concord appears to be following the example of Helldivers 2 in having a more affordable price tag to garner interest. Although the United States PlayStation Store doesn't list Concord's price, eagle-eyed users on Reset Era spotted the game's listing on the Australian PlayStation Store. With the help of some cursory currency conversion, $1 roughly equals $1.50 Australian dollars. Users believe they have a ballpark for how much Concord will cost gamers in the United States. According to the Australian PlayStation Store listing, Concord, like with Helldivers 2 before it, will have a standard and digital deluxe edition that will run players in layman's terms. Concord Standard and Deluxe Edition price tags in the United States would be roughly $40 and $60 if directly converting to U.S. pricing. And then IGN reached out to Sony for comment. So it sounds to me like they are definitely going to be trying to price it lower in an attempt to, tempt people in our current climate. Nobody has a whole lot of money, so hopefully if we don't charge them as much, they'll be willing to buy our game. It also makes people feel a little more likely to give it a chance despite their misgivings regarding things like character design, the fact that it's a 5v5 hero shooter, and finally also the fact that you have to have the PSN. If it's going to cost you less to play it, maybe then you will go ahead and buy it. And anyway, saying, oh, it's not that much, it might be worth a shot. Classic market play. It's nothing huge deal, but it is definitely showing they are at least thinking somewhat, even if it's just a tiny little bit. And all of that just because I wanted to show everybody a meme and have an excuse to do so. So what do you guys think? Do you have an opinion? Are you interested in a hero 5v5 PvP game shooter? Are you interested in that kind of thing? It's not my kind of thing. I know a lot of people are into them in general. Does it look like just another clone to you? Do you think it has any kind of special chance regarding the pedigree of its designers, being parts of Destiny's 1 and 2? I know a lot of people who really love Destiny, parts of Halo Reach. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.